Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. It seems like once again, the leftist media and all the Democrat fearmongers are looking like complete fools as they bet against Donald Trump and lose in real time. It really feels like it's the same thing over and over again. At one point you'd think they'd realize that Donald Trump has their freaking number. But no, of course not. The naysay strategy, the anti-Trump tirades continue. Before any of it even took place, they told you it wasn't gonna work. But guess what? It's freaking working. Donald Trump is breaking the globalist order in real time. Exactly like I've been saying, you can't just look at the Smoot-Hawley Act of 1930 and then use that as your entire argument. It's a completely different strategy. And it seems as though Donald Trump's full-spectrum tariff pressure campaign is doing exactly what it was set out to do. It's accomplishing exactly what he was looking for. Trump has ignited a global economic realignment. And now we got all these countries and territories all seemingly chomping at the bit and jumping over each other, scrambling to make a deal with America. In other words, it feels like the paper tigers are folding and folding fast. And the headline for this video, Europe is already folding. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so basically exactly like I told you guys, they're a complete paper tiger. The European economy is insulated, it's protected, and of course it's built on one-sided trade. Basically what everybody's accusing Donald Trump of doing, protectionist, isolationist policies, yeah, that's pretty much what Europe already does. Oh, you think you can sell your American products in our markets, you American pig? I spit on you. That's basically been the standard for decades. But now Trump comes with a reciprocal tariff, and the end goal is not really to isolate the American market, but rather to open up free trade avenues, actual reciprocal trade, and he became the economic devil overnight. And so I guess the goal of Europeans, Canada, and China, that really seems to be the unholy Trinity tariff alliance going on right now. I guess their goal was to turn the whole world against America, but they're fafoing quick because guess what? When you isolate your market and depend on exporting to the American market, which is the biggest market, the consumer of the world, well, guess what? You essentially forgive all of your leverage. You have no leverage. If you're going to go tit for tat with America in a trade war, America pretty much has nothing to lose because you don't even let them export to you in the first place. Well, what do you think's going to happen? The EU is deeply dependent on exporting to the American market. They're totally dependent. And so now they basically don't have a choice, and they're caving.
We stand ready to negotiate with the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. But we are also prepared to respond through countermeasures and defend our interests.
Last week it was, we will fight these Americans. And now already, a week later, we are open to negotiations. And they're coming with this weak-ass proposal, the same one from 2 weeks ago, 0 for 0 tariffs on industrial goods. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Not good enough. It's cute, it's a start, but let's talk cars. Let's talk meat. Everyone's always talking about cars, that's the most obvious one, but I think American beef is another great point of conversation. They barely allow it into their markets. And you'll hear leftoids claim, well, that's bogus, they don't really have tariffs on American meat. They don't have tariffs maybe, at least not huge tariffs, but they have all kinds of regulations. They claim that American beef is not safe, but really it's just an excuse. It's protectionism dressed up as regulation. And again, that's the whole point of these tariffs, to open up global markets for American goods, for American producers, to be granted the same opportunities as everybody else. Europeans can send all kinds of food products to the United States. In fact, Americans love European goods. Italian and French wines, Scotch, the list goes on. And well, now maybe it's time for American meat to be allowed into the European markets. And come on, it's obvious why they've created all these regulations to stop it from entering. They don't want American meat in Europe because they know that it's going to blow their product out of the water. And that's really what these tariffs are about. It's not about bringing sweatshops back to America. It's about protecting and prioritizing key American industries. American beef, poultry, steel, automobiles, semiconductors. This is the foundation of the American manufacturing economy. And of course, agriculture. There's more, but you get what I mean. Those are the core industries that support American families, small towns, and national security. And so the goal is to open up European markets and other global markets to American companies, and in this case, American ranchers. I mean, just imagine the boom. American ranchers produce the absolute best beef in the world, period. I mean, I know you've got Japanese Wagyu, but that's more of a specialty product. I mean, nobody's eating Wagyu every single day. It's way too rich. When it comes to premium steaks, nothing touches American prime. And the demand for this beef should be global. But travel the world and it basically doesn't exist because foreign governments have enacted policies to protect their inferior domestic products, essentially tariffs and trade barriers, and Trump is saying no more.
Did you agree to lowering tariffs for any of the countries that you spoke to today? So
what you understand, Jennifer, you have to understand this. We have massive surplus countries that we're dealing with. We have massive deficits. We've got to straighten that out because you can't continue to be that way. It's been that way for years now, and it can't go on any longer. And we're the piggy bank. We have all the advantages. Forget markets for a second. We have all the advantages. We're going to straighten out. We're going to become a wealthy nation again. Wealthy like never before. And we're not going to let other nations that have been ripping us off, whether it's China or the European Union, with all of the European nations that have just made it's been like a feast. Look, the European Union was formed for one reason. You know what that was? To rip off the United States.
And so, they could whine, they could play the victim card all they want, but enough is enough. We don't block their key industries, what they do best, right? The Europeans are so proud of all the products they produce, but when you have key industries and what America does best, they can't export it to the world? It's simply unfair. It's not reciprocal. It's a scam. And that right there is what Donald Trump is fighting for, to bring those jobs back, to increase production domestically, and to export across the world. I mean, imagine the jobs that would be created. Imagine the industry that would boom if all of a sudden America's food products were being exported globally. I mean, just the European market, that's like, nearly 400 million people. All Trump is asking is for a fair standard. You guys bring your wine products, you guys bring your meat products, your specialty artisanal products, and we consume them like crazy, and you guys are making all kinds of freaking money. We take your cars, your washing machines, German and Italian engineering, but then we can't sell our appliances in your market? It's complete nonsense. But anyways, it seems like it's happening. Markets are opening up. They don't have a choice. They have no leverage. And that, I think, is the genius of this Trump play. We've seen tariffs in the past, but for the most part, it happens between two countries. It's been very specific, very targeted. The genius of this Trump play is tariffs on everyone. And it's created a frenzy. It's created an environment where these foreign nations around the globe have to act fast. And if they don't act fast, they're going to get left behind. I think it's less of a trade war and more of a strategic chokehold. Donald Trump has created urgency. And now we've got so many countries all jumping, trying to make a deal. We got the UK, we got Japan, Taiwan, Vietnam, Israel, India, you name it. All of them are lining up, literally trying to leapfrog over each other and jump over each other, trying to be the first one to secure a deal. And that chaos is basically creating a global reset. If you don't get the job done, you will be left behind. That's why I think what China's doing is so stupid. They're continuing to antagonize Donald Trump. They called him a bully recently. But if they don't act quick, other emerging markets are going to start replacing them. And I think the EU is really learning fast. They're fafoing real quick. They thought they were going to get everybody to team against Donald Trump, but instead people are trying to make deals, and now they're sitting there realizing they've built zero momentum. They have no leverage. Nobody wants to side with them except for China and Canada, which isn't exactly an all-star lineup. It's more like the bad news bears. And they're realizing, we're dependent on American dollars, not just economically, but also in terms of national security. And so we got to do something. They're going to start off here with this 0-for-0 tariff on industrial goods. Donald Trump's going to look at them and he's going to say it's not even close to good enough. Frankly, he's going to tell them to go F themselves, and they're going to have to come back with more. Likely, it's going to end in a similar deal to what we're seeing in Taiwan and other nations. Anyways, that's pretty much it. That's what I got for you guys on this topic, or at least that's the way I see it. Let me know if you enjoyed that. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.